What's going on YouTube? My name is Ruff and today we're going to be going over a quick tip that'll take your reverb from sounding like this to this. Now I'm working in Ableton, so the way I do this tip is going to be Ableton specific. However, the principles behind it can be applied to any DAW. So today we're going to be looking at this tip through the lens of a drum mixdown, but it could be applied to vocals, synth, strings, really anything where you have an element that you want to sit in a specific space, but preserve that initial attack or transient as well. So I have this basic drum loop here with Valhalla reverb on both the kick and snare, and that sounds like this. And you can notice pretty much right away that both the kick and snare feel super washed out, and you're losing a lot of that initial punchiness and attack because everything feels so muddy with the reverb. So these are elements that are supposed to be punchy and in your face, and with sidechain parallel compression, we're going to be able to have that while also still having reverb on them, and I'm going to show you how to do that right here. So what I'm going to do is parallel send the reverb, and we can do this in Ableton by hitting Command G and putting it in a group. Now it's very important that your reverb is set to 100% wet on the mix knob, since we're mixing the totally wet signal with the totally dry signal in this parallel group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here, and I'm going to name this chain wet since we have the reverb on it, and we're going to create an additional chain that we're going to name dry, and now we have a parallel send on this reverb. Then on the wet signal, we're going to add a compressor after the reverb. We're going to put the ratio all the way up, bring the attack and the release all the way down, and then we're going to click this button right here, take off the EQ and turn on the sidechain, and we're going to be taking the audio from the snare and sidechaining the reverb to this snare. And what we'll be adjusting is the threshold. So I'm going to solo this snare and hit play. And we're just going to adjust this threshold to a spot that feels natural, where we still have that attack from the snare, but get that space from the reverb afterwards. Now I'm going to turn down the wet and just mix it with the dry. That feels pretty good. And the goal of this method is for that reverb to be ducking underneath that signal that's coming in from your initial element's transient. So in this case, when the snare hits, the reverb's playing after the snare's transient in that space alongside the snare's tail to give it a longer reverb tail. So I hope you learned something here using parallel sidechain compression to make your reverb sound a lot cleaner. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll make sure to get back to you. I'll see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Peace.